The situation today is under control. We welcome the World Health Organization effort to bring that new drug to test it, and apparently the tests have been very successful. So we hope that in the future we can use it.
Does the DRC have the capacity and infrastructure to tackle this?
DRC has the most capacity to handle Ebola on the whole continent of Africa. This is like a 13th outbreak of Ebola. So we have had it many times. We have developed the expertise. So we have the capacity even to help other African countries. When there was an Ebola breakout in Sierra Leone, in Liberia, DRC experts went there to help them.
We're getting reports that newborns are being infected. What sort of impact is this likely to have on the country?
Well, it's a major impact because the previous outbreak were not as critical and widespread as the current one. And this one happened in an area where sometimes there is instability and so forth, and it's a heavily populated area. Why this Ebola has chosen that area, we don't know. What's the origin of that? We don't know. But because we have it, we have to deal with it.
In other news, there's been the statement released by the United States Embassy. I just want to read it to you. The United States Embassy in Kinshasa has credible and specific information of a possible terrorist threat against U.S. government facilities in Kinshasa, and the U.S. Embassy in Kinshasa will remain closed to the public on Friday, November 30th. What's the situation on the ground there, sir?
Where the suspicion for terrorist activities have been there. Now, if the U.S. Embassy is reacting that way because they apparently have the information that they are being targeted, we have been informing the whole world. We have informed the U.S. government about the threat of a terrorism in the DRC. We have given them the information, but they're only reacting today because apparently they think their embassy and their is being targeted by these terrorists. The embassy is there. They didn't close the embassy. Is that they are not open to the public, to provide services to the public, but the embassy is still open.
Okay, thanks for that clarification. Let's shift focus now to the elections, 23rd of December 2018, a big day. Let's talk about the environment currently in the DRC. Is it conducive for free and fair elections?
Oh, definitely.
What makes you say, because there's a lot of contention, isn't it, with regards to certain people saying that it's not. Why do you say that it is conducive?
When you say a lot of people, I don't know who you've been talking to. Congo has 80 million people. They're ready for elections. The 80 million people. The problem is that we want a democracy, so we'll open it to a multi-party system. Congo has 512 political parties. So if 2 or 3 parties are saying they are complaining, fine, that's their right. But the majority of the Congolese, the majority of the political parties are ready to go to election on the 23rd of December.
We had a bit of a chance to speak to human rights activist Jean Boissa, and he says the situation is not peaceful. Is human rights prevailing in the DRC?
Well, if you talk to NGOs, you have to, first of all, to see who is funding that NGO and what they are saying that NGO, they think that's their job, the so-called human rights. The human rights are being violated everywhere throughout the world. Tell me a country where human rights are not being violated. It's everywhere. But we in Congo is not a country on fire. It's not. And I will hope that you guys, even during the election, will visit the country to see what's going on there. The country is at peace. Nobody's rights are being violated by the government. When things happened, the judicial system is there to deal with that. So the government is not like pursuing people or arresting political opponents like we have experienced in other countries, including some of our neighbors, where a presidential opponent, presidential candidate, is jailed. And most of the media keeps quiet. We're not doing that in DRC.
So give us a sense of the mood currently in the DRC, especially among the electorate. Do you think, do you getting a sense that a voter turnout is likely to be high?
Well, I don't know. It sounds like you have not been following the DRC media. People are campaigning everywhere. You have big crowds, people following their candidates, people listening to them. The campaign has started. and the people are enthusiastic about that, because for the first time, we want to have a peaceful transfer of power in DRC. So the Congolese people are totally enthusiastic about the upcoming elections.
What about some of the issues that are being brought up has to do with this electronic machines that will be used during these elections. Just tell us a bit about that. Why is it so controversial?
Because it's controversial because some of the political parties, they are not ready to go to elections. There are 21 presidential candidates. There were 29 initially, but others were eliminated because they didn't fill the conditions. There are 15,000 candidates for 500 seats in the parliament, just about 30 voters per candidate. Now, with all that, there are 74,000 polling stations. So these parties had the resources. They had to send their witnesses into the 74,000 polling stations. Some of them have not the capacity to that. So to find an excuse, they had to use excuse like the electronic voting machine. That machine doesn't vote. The machine, it's actually a printer. If you see the name of your candidate, you push on the machine prints the bulletin, the ballot vote. And you sign it, and you put it in the box, and you vote. It just prints the thing for you. It doesn't vote for you. So there's no controversy.
What about international observers who will be present during these elections?
My friend, do you ever go and observe election in Europe, in the United States, elsewhere? US, South Africans? No. We don't observe. Therefore, we are saying the elections, it's a sovereign issue. We will only accept observers from SADC and from the African Union, the Africans. It's an African issue. You don't
intend or see the need to invite European and American observers?
What for? Sometimes we don't think about those things. We don't observe the elections. Why do they observe ours? Because we're subhumans? We don't know what we're doing? Why? Why should we forever maintain the position of inferiority so that the big guy will have to come and check on us? No. We are saying no. African observers, yes. SADC observers, yes. Outside Africa, no.
Ambassador M'Poko, thank you very much indeed for your time. Stand by. We're going to take a quick break. More after.